Hey, Free, welcome to the show.
Hello, and thank you so very much.
Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm so grateful that you invited me.
Absolutely. So, you are an intuitive life coach. Um,
Absolutely.
so, what is that in comparison to like a regular life coach?
So, intuitive life coach means I also receive channel messages from spirit, God, ancestors, and I use those as well to help assist you in gaining your life's purpose or moving further along.
So, how did this all start for you? Because now you have a TV show, you have a business. So, where did you start this?
Woo! I started when I was 5. I just didn't realize that's what I was doing, 5 years old. I didn't realize that I was receiving messages, and I've always been the person. I remember when I was in high school, my high school teacher said, "Well, she's the leader, and whatever she says to people, can you please tell her to tell the kids to be nice to me? Because if she says it, they'll do it." And I'm like, "What?" She was the teacher. So it's been that way for a long time, but I will say that I've fully embraced it as of 11/11/11.
Oh, what a perfect time. What a beautiful date.
Yeah, yeah,
So, what happened on
absolutely.
that date?
So I went to an 11/11 event. And when I went to this event, you can do an aura camera, like take your pictures of your aura and things like that. Now, I had been told prior to that I was a psychic, that I could see things. Psychic told my dad that when I was 16. I've always known things, didn't know why I knew them. I went to see a psychic. He told me the same thing. However, when I did the aura test and my aura came out white, when we first did it, the guy was talking to me. He was like, "Yeah, yeah, okay, okay." He was smiling. He said, "Okay, make sure that your hand is planted," because it was showing white with just a tad bit of purple around this area right here. So he said, "Make sure everything's on there solid. Are your feet planted?" I say, "Yes." Did it again, and it was white with a little bit of purple, the same thing. And he said, "Do you know who you are?" Me. "Yeah, I'm free." I know. And he said, "No, you are special." And he proceeded to explain some things to me. "You are so close to the divine. You're so close. You know things." And I think that's when I really said, "Yo, okay, wait a minute. Let me start operating in this." And I decided to start doing what I needed to do to allow myself to operate in my gifts.
So, do you have that same gift? Like, can you see in other people too, the same way that he saw in you that they can be doing this work as well?
So I don't necessarily see the aura a lot. Every once in a while, I can see a person's aura. I more so see the soul and the energy of the person. I read the vibration of you, if that's a better term. I read your vibration. So yes, and I can see when people are supposed to be doing this, or I can see when they are gifted or intuitive. If you really want to be honest, all of us have it. Everybody just doesn't operate in it. We all, spirit is no respect for person. We are all a spark of the divine. So that means everything that God can do, everything that Yahshua can do, we can do. We just don't know that.
Because we're, what is the quote? We are spiritual beings having a human experience, right?
That's it. That's it. But what did you say first? We are spiritual beings first,
Hmm.
having a human experience. And now keep in mind, I've seen the soul and I know how ginormous it is. The soul is beautiful and amazing. But we had to dumb all of that down and put it in the shell of a body that we have. Right? So in order to do that, we forgot a lot of the things that we knew when we were one with the collective consciousness in totality. So we forgot a lot. Now this is all about, I hear people say, well, they've awakened. I don't think anybody awakens. I think we just remember,
Mm, I like that.
we remember.
So, what have we
Yeah.
forgotten?
We've forgotten that we are divine. We've forgotten that we are one with God. We've forgotten that we are God. We've forgotten completely. We've forgotten that we can do anything. We've forgotten that love is the most important thing there is. That's the only purpose that we have is love. Now, how you show that love is different, but love is our only purpose. And we've forgotten that. That's why the world is how it is. But could you imagine how beautiful it would be if everybody remembered that they are loved? Oh my God. And it's happening. I know it's going to happen. I know it. Oh,
You
so
can see it.
exciting.
It is happening. This kind of thing is
Yes.
becoming bigger and bigger. It's like a snowball effect. It seems to be rolling down the hill and it's just getting larger and larger and larger.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I'm so excited. I was like, I just really thought about it. Yo, I picked the best time to be alive in this realm for this lifetime because I've been here several times, as all of us. But this one right here, yo, this was it. I'm so grateful.
I feel a lot of the same sentiments, just gratefulness for being in this particular incarnation at this time, fulfilling this purpose on the specific path that I'm on. I feel a lot of gratefulness. So you're speaking my language for sure.
Yeah, so grateful. So grateful. I was like, oh my God. And I know I was standing there, I'll go, me, pick me, I'll go.
So what do you tell people who are struggling, who are suffering, who are unable to see this remembering?
To lean into their heart, to just sit in silence. First, they have to be deprogrammed from what they've learned. So I would ask them, and no judgment on anybody. So I never try to sway anybody. It's only when they come to me and say, I know something is not right, because I'm not trying to change anybody's views. What I am doing is making the things that I know readily available to other people. Right. So the first thing that I would ask them to do is just open their mind just for a moment. Just stop and think. And if everything that you heard really makes sense to you and resonates with you, that's okay. But if any of it, just a little bit, seems off kilter, think about it. Think about it. One of the main things I remember, I was dating a gentleman who his father is a very well known bishop, right? Well known. And I told him, we were talking, and he was talking about Jesus, or Yahshua is what I say. And I told him, I said, well, you know that Yahshua had a woman, he was married. You know that, right? Oh my God. It was like, and this was a long time ago, but I knew that he had somebody. I knew. And I said, well, think about it. Why would God allow himself, if that's how you put it, his son to come on earth and not experience the greatest thing that there is, love? He wouldn't do that because he couldn't hold us to standards to it that Yahshua wouldn't be able to fulfill. So we're supposed to stay monogamous or whatever you prefer to call it. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't allow a woman to give birth to a child without first knowing the response to it. I just, he wouldn't. So that's the first thing, is to deprogram themselves from what they've learned. And all that requires is just an open mind. What if what I'm saying is true? What if you are God? Think about the scripture that says, I will always be with you. Well, how can something always be with you? That means it's on the inside of you. If you're always with me, and I'm like, just think about that, you know? And that's how I do. And then I tell them to lean into their heart. And when they lean into their heart, if there's an inkling or a little question about anything, then I advise them to dig further.
I've heard you speak about, and this made me laugh, and I really, really love the way you put it, uh, taking a dump. Can you go over your concept of taking a dump?
You got to take a dump. You got to dump all that other bullshit out your mind that you had before. You got to take a dump. And sometimes that requires a physical dump because that's stuff that we've impeded inside of us. That's the crap, the bull crap that we've been fed, the stories and things like that. So, yes, that is what I say when you take a dump. And when you take a dump, you're taking a spiritual dump, emotional dump, physical dump. You're taking all of it. Dump all of that bull crap out so that you can be replenished with other things, right? Essentially, what that means is just letting go of the crap.
Yeah, it's funny because I heard it was like a Zen koan, or it was some sort of a story told by like a Buddhist monk where he had been approached and he was asked, "What is enlightenment?" And his answer to that question was taking a big fat shit. And I thought that's perfect. That's perfect. Because in the moment where you have that urge to take a shit, that's the only thing you wanna do, and it's the only thing that's going to alleviate the physical stress that you have, and
I'm telling
when I heard you say taking a dump as a way of, like, surrendering and shedding yourself of all the conditioning, I thought it was just the perfect analogy.
Oh, yeah. And I had to do that. And here's the thing about taking a dump. You might have to take a dump a few times. It's gonna take a second. You might have to do that a few times. But when you do it, you leave room for um knowledge. You have to purge all the bullshit so that you can get to the real shit. For real.
Yep.
We have to.
Now, one of the the main way that I do this is through psychedelics. And we talk a lot about plant medicines and psychedelics on this podcast. And I understand that you had just gone through recently an ayahuasca experience, right?
Yes, yes. Oh my God, I'm getting chills. I love you. I'm getting chills. And here's the thing. I just night before last, my stomach was hurting so bad and I didn't know why. I've since then realized that something about the earth had a tsunami or something. There's like all kind of stuff going on in the atmosphere and it's making people be sick and feel bad and all this other stuff. But it's more knowledge. But I just talked to Mother Aya and I said, Mother Aya, I need you. I did this in November in Costa Rica at Rhythmia. The one thing that I can tell you is that once you have that connection to Mother Aya, it's forever. And I'm tingling all over right now. It's forever. When I tell you, I cannot explain the gratitude. I can't explain. It was the hardest, yet the most beautiful thing that I had ever done. Oh my God, it was so beautiful. So beautiful. I feel like everyone should have an ayahuasca experience. I've also done Golden Teacher quite a lot. I've done Tamarian Blue quite a lot. I've done DMT.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know that was the toll when I did it. I was just doing some shit because I just wanted to try it. As I went to a little ceremony with somebody, I was like, oh, this is cool. Okay, I'm gonna do DMT. Honey, when I came off that pipe, I said, whoa, oh, wait a minute. I was like, oh shit.
So, what was your DMT trip like?
So when I first came off of it, I am a music person. Music always shows up in every one of my journeys, right? So when I first came off the pipe, I started doing this and I was just rotating and I knew I was doing it. And then I just went back. And as I went back, I heard on my left side, I heard a tribe of indigenous people. They were singing to me and playing the drums to me. And I could see them. And they were talking to me and telling me, it's getting ready to happen. Are you ready? I answered, I'm ready. The second time I said I'm ready, they said they thought I was getting ready to start masturbating or something because I was like, I'm ready. They were like, oh shit, what's she ready for? But I didn't. I just got, it was so beautiful. And after they did their little ceremony and I said, I'm ready, I started dancing. I'm laying down and I'm doing full movements. And they said they had never seen anything so beautiful. They knew that I was doing some type of sacred dance. Now that has happened to me again when I did Tamarian Blue, I danced. And then I also danced on ayahuasca because the ayahuasca was 4 ceremonies. We did 4 days in a row. But DMT, listen, overwhelming feeling of love, overwhelming feeling of knowledge, of being one with everything. Now, one of the persons that I did it with, she freaked out. She was like, yo, I'm fucking tripping. So I had to close my eyes. I'm the person that when I do any type of journey like that, I don't sit and try to see what's around me. I want to go on the inside.
Absolutely.
Some people, they have their eyes open. The first time I did mushrooms, which is golden teacher, I had my eyes open and I saw the ceiling in my bedroom separate. I said, yo, that was a fun journey. That I just laughed, laugh, 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 laugh. That's all I did. But the very next time I did it on the beach, and it was more than that for me. Now it was time for them to teach me because I got all the laughter part out. And I always start laughing right when I'm getting ready to go under. That's how everybody I think has their own little thing that they do when the journey starts.
Mhm.
Mine is I'm gonna yawn. And then after I yawn, I'm gonna start laughing. And I'm talking about laughing like to tears falling. And I don't know what I'm laughing at, but it's hilarious. And I'll be saying, ooh, that's funny. I be laughing hard. And then I go under and I'm ready. But DMT was amazing. Ayahuasca's amazing. Like I just that's probably why they're so illegal in certain places. Because if we all were on that,
The world would be a very different place.
listen, if they would give that to people with depression, I honestly think they wouldn't have it. I realized why, because I love to drink wine and I couldn't figure out why. I could drink a bottle of wine a day, sometimes two, depending on what time I started. And I couldn't figure out why or what was going on with me that I felt like I needed to have this wine. What Mother Aya told me. That was my resistance to walking in my gift. That was my safe haven. And
Wow.
that's why. And I couldn't understand it. She told me to stop it. She didn't say stop forever. And I have since then drank some wine because my mother transitioned. That probably was my excuse for drinking it because I really wanted to drink it anyway. That was my excuse. But she did tell me that I didn't need it.
Yeah, I hear a lot of stories about people encountering Mother Ayahuasca and her telling them about their vices. Like one man in particular, Graham Hancock. Have you ever heard of him?
I have. I have. I don't remember what he does, but I know I've heard that name before.
He researches like lost and ancient civilizations, and he's very, very
Okay.
much into the psychedelic community and the psychedelic world. And ayahuasca is one of his favorite drugs. And he had had a very tumultuous relationship with marijuana, where he would just be smoking it all day, all the time, all like no matter what. He was always super high, super stoned. And ayahuasca told him, you have to curate your relationship with this drug because this drug is also a plant teacher and you have to use it and integrate it into your life in the correct way because right now the way you're doing it, it's not right. It's not benefiting you. So I find that to be a common theme. I personally have never taken ayahuasca yet. I'd love to. I feel like such a calling toward it, but I just haven't really gotten around to, like you said, it's illegal, so you have to, like, go out of the country, and like you said, you went to Rhythmia. I I
In Costa
really
Rica.
Yeah, in Costa Rica. There's another place called Sotara in Costa Rica that I was looking at as well, but,
Okay.
how important to you was it to go to a place where they have, like, trained, authentic shamans?
Um, it was important to me because I know that if you're not ready or you're not careful or you're not knowing what you're doing, it could be detrimental to you. Right. I do know that. Um, and then I went with a group of people that I also knew. We didn't sit together because we wanted to have our own separate experience. But I feel like you have to, when you do something like that. So, one, there are so many people who are now trying to do this, or I won't say trying, because either they're doing it or they're not. There's no such as try. There are so many people that are doing this, but it has to be a place where your health is very important. At Rhythmia, you have to go through a wellness check first before you can do it. If your blood pressure is too high, they won't let you do it. Right. And it's so many other things. Not only do you do the ayahuasca, but you also have to do a colonic, which allows you to take a dump, get all that shit out. And then you get a massage, which will move things through your body. And then you do the breath work because there's so much in alignment to it. If you just try to go into it and just start drinking ayahuasca, I don't know that that is as sacred. Like I will tell you, I had a soul merger when I did it. My higher self merged back with me because we all go through a soul split. Something happens, alarm clock can sometimes make that split. I knew what mine was, which explains why I was so uncomfortable in my gift. When I got up to sing at 10 years old, I opened my mouth and nothing came out. I used to always lead all the solos in church. When I got up to open my mouth, nothing came out. That all of a sudden made me shy and afraid to say and do things like that, right? Fear of judgment. That's when my soul split from my body. And she told me that. So when you go through this merger, you have to know how to breathe. You have to know because it's intense. I won't tell nobody no story. Listen, you can't come to her half-assing. You got to come correct when you come. But here's the thing. If you're getting the pulling, if it keeps coming up and all of that, that's her saying you're ready.
Mhm.
She calls you. You don't just go because you want to go. She calls you because I had tried to do ayahuasca several times before that, paid for it, and the person refunded my money, which meant I couldn't go there. Right. So this one, everything was seamless. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It's amazing. So, how have your experiences with plant medicine informed what you're doing and your gifts? Have they reaffirmed them or have they advanced
Yes.
them?
Yes, 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 and yes. Listen, sometimes when you are an intuitive person, you sometimes will wonder, wait, am I crazy? Is that me? So when Golden Teacher told me, you know, every every single person that you meet in your life is to help you grow and be a better person, right? So my first time with Golden Teacher, my son came to me first, then my daughter, then my best friend. And you know what she told me? That's why I'm your best friend, so that you can work with me, so that you can help and teach others. Because you're responsible. You're going to be helping the world. Now, this is before the TV show or anything. You're going to be helping the world, but make sure that those around you are taken care of first. And I was like, yo, if you're going to, that same healing that you're going to give to others, give it to those around you. That's why we're here, so that you can practice. My twin flame, who I always felt like maybe, but I wasn't even thinking about them on my journey. My twin flame told me, I am your twin flame, but I've made another decision in this life, and it is okay. It doesn't mean that we won't ever be together again. It's just that in this life, I've made another decision. I made a different choice, but I still love you. And I have spoken to my twin flame since then. And she acknowledged, yes, my twin flame is a woman in this life, right? And I date both. I don't judge about the sex of a person. I don't date them because of what they are. I just like people. I love people. So she said that. So that enhanced that. The Tamarian Blue told me what I was supposed to do with my gift. And Mother Aya, oh, she said, get ready because you're going to change the world. Get ready. She said, it's time. No more running. And it was the most beautiful thing. She even had me to do an activation on myself. The first time when she did, she was clearing, at first I thought she was clearing my heart because I thought I was holding on to something I didn't need. But she did one booby and it was my hand, but it was going so fast, I can't humanly possibly do that. I was clearing, 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 clearing. Then it went over and it did like this. And then it started with that one. I knew what was going on, but I was like, yo, cleared me of whatever could have been going on. I don't know. I know I had a mammogram. I'm clear. Nothing is there, right? But before, when I had one a few years ago, they saw something really little, but they didn't know what it was. So now there's nothing there. So and you hear people talk about Mother Aya, there are people who will heal you like the minions and things like that. I didn't see any minions. I just talked to Mother Aya and my soul, right? And yeah, I can't, I wish I knew how to put it into words because I don't. And I can talk. But when it comes to that, I'm speechless because I don't know the words to say. It was the most divinely orchestrated experience of my life, of
That's
my
a
life.
common theme for psychedelic experiences, the power and the ineffability of them for sure. And I mean I can speak from experience as well. Mushrooms especially, and DMT more recently for me as well. But yeah, I'm definitely I'm planning the ayahuasca ceremony. I really, really want to do that.
Yeah, she's calling you.
Yeah.
So how was your DMT experience?
Fantastic. So I've had two powerful ones. I've done it a few times. Because as you know, I'm sure the mechanism of smoking it is like kind of iffy, so you have to really get the technique right. So I didn't get the technique right until the last two previous times. And the first time, now I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Catholic, I don't identify with any sort of organized religion in any way. But what appeared to me in my vision was the Mother Mary, or
Oh,
some entity that looked like the Mother Mary, and she was, like, guiding me through this, like, big area. I don't even know how to describe it. It was like this, she was in my field of vision no matter where I was looking, and obviously my body was still, but she was moving me around this area, and she was just stuck right in the center, and she was just feeding me love and feeding me just the most beautiful things in the world. And I mean, I can't even
mm.
describe it. And the tears started to fall out of my eyes, and it was beautiful. And she was telling me, like, welcome, like, you finally made it, because it was my first time that I finally broke through to that. And it was
Oh
just
my
it was amazing.
God.
Yeah, and,
Ah,
the second time was kinda crazy too. The second time was a little more intense. Um, the main visions that I saw were, like, these ancient looking women, and it was, like, the sides of their heads, and inside their brains were, and there were a whole bunch of them. They were kinda like stained glass all over my field of vision, and inside their brains were fetuses, like baby fetuses. And it like felt to me like this is the place where you go to like choose the soul of your baby or something. Like as crazy as that sounds. And
no, it sound yeah, look, sounds right to me.
yeah, I can see in your eyes that you understand what I'm saying.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, that's
just
beautiful.
beautiful.
I wish more people could try it.
Me too. I wish more people were open to the idea, but like you said, the social conditioning that we've all been so used to just it beats
Mhm.
these types of ideas out of us. I feel like
Mhm.
we're closer to this when we're children because we can sort of effortlessly just spread joy and love, and we don't have these
Yeah.
weird restrictions that we put on ourselves to fit
Yeah.
into a certain type of societal norm. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Children are the closest thing to heaven. One of the things that Spirit told me, um, I don't know, I have like these moments with God and we just talk. And so one of the things that God told me was when a baby is born, the reason that that soft spot is there and why we cannot touch it is because they're still receiving downloads. They haven't fully incarnated into earth yet. Once that's closed, they are fully a human being. But while that soft spot is still there, that's why nobody should touch it, nobody should be there, because they're still connected and still tied where we can't see the cord, but it's still there. And babies are still receiving those downloads and still receiving that information and still connected because it takes a moment. Can you imagine being under all this love and then all of a sudden you're in this place? It's like, who are you? I know we don't look like what we look like there. You know what I mean? So, and when he said that to me, when I was told that by them, by God, I was like, yo, that makes so much sense to me. Children are so, I don't know, they're so free.
yeah, they are. They are.
They operate in freedom. And we try to tell them, sit down, be quiet. But that actually stunts their growth. That stunts their ability. We should let them, if they having a temper tantrum. I learned this at Rhythmia. And I can't remember what they called it, but it was like when we would say, ah! We take a breath and then we'd hit the floor and just scream. Yo, that felt like an orgasm at times because it felt so good. And it's like that's why you have to let children, instead of spanking them or being mad or saying stop, let them throw their tantrum. And when they're done, they will stop. But we've never been taught that. But you have to allow the energy to move in the body.
Yeah, these things are not taught to us in schools. They're not taught to us
No,
they're not pushed to us through any institutions. It's something you have to figure out on your own. So,
absolutely.
but it seems like you started very young figuring this
I
all out.
did.
Hmm.
I did. I did. I've always been different. I've always been different. And I know that I was meant to do this. I remember when I was 5, we were at church because my parents are big into the church. I'm just on the opposite spectrum, but they're heavy in the church. And it was a pastor that preached. And I asked my mom if I could go, I wanted to go talk to him. So I went up to him and he was talking to all these other adults. Well, all I did was grab his hand. I didn't say anything. I just grabbed his hand. He stopped talking to all these adults and he said, whose child is this? Well, my mom thinking that he was saying, get your child, because she grabbed my hand. But that's not what he was saying. He was telling her, this child is full of power. You don't know who this baby is yet, you know? And sometimes for myself, it's like, do I really know who I am? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I've always been the person that wanted everything to be about love. I've always, my friends, my family, they say I pick up people like stray dogs and stray cats because I just love people. And I've always been that way since I was a little girl. My mom said, you can't do nothing by yourself. It's not that I didn't want to do it by myself. It's just that I knew that that person couldn't do it unless they did it with us. And I wanted to bring it, I wanted everybody else to experience. Come on, let's come over here with me. We're doing a cookout. It's going to be good food. That's just, I just wanted to give to everybody. So, yeah, it started when I was very young. And I'm 50 now. 45 years ago is when I remember the first. So you imagine all the things that have happened now. When things happen, I relate or I align them. Oh, that's why that happened. So that this could happen. So now it's more fun to me because I'm maneuvering through life. And it's always not easy because people think when you get to a certain level, it's going to be easy. No, 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 no. You still have things that you have to, but that's part of the growth process. You have to get yourself to fully, fully, fully encompass your God self. And as long as you're having a human experience, that's a moment by moment, not day by day. That's a moment by moment task because the ego is sitting there, oh, good and faithful, telling you, no, no, you can't do this. So when we are able to fully encompass our God self, where everything is based off love, and I think that psychedelics could help us do that.
I totally agree. And another thing that I feel helps to silence that ego on your shoulder is when you start to see synchronicities and really notice them and pay
Mm,
attention to them and sort of follow them. That to me is where the rubber meets the road. That's like in
mm.
your waking life, no drugs, nothing. When you can really see a synchronicity and you're not scared of it, because some people get scared of them too. But for me, every time I see a synchronicity, it's just a big smile pops on my face. And I'm like, yes, all right, there's another one.
I love them. Even your show is a synchronicity for me because I've been learning the infinity breath.
Oh,
So
I
by
love
the
it.
name of your show, and then I have the infinity symbol on my body. And I've been doing so like I don't know, it all is synchronicity. Like for me, it's all like that. Like I met you, yeah, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
License plates, I see those when I see double numbers on license plates, or it doesn't matter what I'm doing, or I wake up and I look at the clock and I see what time it is, I start laughing. Okay, I got you. So yeah, it's all beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, just the way that I discovered you. I mean, I just started this podcast in January, and I've been, just fishing for guests, really. I'm trying to find people that I could resonate with. And on Reddit, a dude named Christian Reeve posted that he was looking for guests, and I was like, ah, cool. Like, let's collaborate. So we collaborated, and during the podcast that we recorded for his show, which I think he just released recently. He was talking about you, and I had no idea who you were at the time. He was telling me that he just had a podcast with like a very spiritual woman, and we were sort of me and you were sort of saying the same types of things to him. And then like a week or two later, I see he drops your podcast with him, and I was like, oh, interesting. So who's this person named Free? I was like, her name is Free. That's perfect. So I had to listen, and I listened to it, and I was like, man, I I was even thinking, I was saying, I got to talk to this woman. And then when you said to him that you had taken ayahuasca, I was like, that's it. I gotta figure out how to get in touch with her and talk to her. And it just so happens that, the universe made it happen, and here we are.
Always, always. But the beauty of that is even deeper to me because we agreed to do this before we came to Earth. You and I agreed to meet with each other on this day at this time before we came to Earth for the betterment of mankind. So whomever hears this is who's supposed to hear it.
I love that.
Isn't that beautiful? Everybody that you encounter, even those people that you think hurt you, they love you so much until they're willing to be the one to make you go through something and hurt you so that you will hate them, so that they can make you grow. That's how much they love you. Like people say, they must really hate you. No, that's how much they love me because they had to agree for me to not be in a loving space with them because they had to hurt me. Now, it took me some time to get to that point because I'm like anybody else, yeah, I could get mad and angry at one time a whole lot, but now it's about recognizing where that's coming from. Oh, okay, I got it. That's what that's for, you know?
Yeah, when you see
Yeah.
that, you understand that there really is like no such thing as hate. And my brother and I talk about this a lot because we run this podcast together, and we talk about it quite a bit. It's like hate is a reactionary emotion. It's not something that's real or tangible. It's all based in love, essentially. We used
It's just the other spectrum of love. It's
mhm.
love on the other spectrum. That's all it is. Because they loved you enough for you to hate them. Oh, oh, isn't that beautiful?
Perfect.
It's beautiful, beautiful.
So,
And when we get to that point and we realize it, we'd be much better. And what were you gonna say, baby?
I was just gonna I wanted to get back to your trajectory through this whole thing. Did you say that your plant medicine experiences were before or after your professional like life in this realm, like the TV show and your business, which is called Freedom Love Experience? So did that stuff come after your plant medicine experiences, or was it sort of
Mm-mm.
intertwined within?
It was intertwined. So Freedom Love Experience has been around for a long time since the word, the name of it. And that's just what I've been doing my readings under. So I've been doing readings prior to. It was intertwined. It just happened with it. Right. I started working on the TV show back in, I want to say the whole process started back in 2020. Right. I had not done ayahuasca. I had not done hape. I love hape too. I do hape every day. I
Mm,
had not done any of those things. Um, I kind of sort of, when I started doing it, I just went all in. My first time doing hape, I want to say, plant medicine, I want to say my first time was in 2020. 2020. Yeah, I believe that was my first time. And it's just sort of kind of been going like that, just been happening. happening. I will tell you that my ayahuasca experience was November 13th through the 20th. My show launched November 22nd.
Wow. So like right
So
after.
right after, right after. Yeah. Yeah. And I was wide open.
How did that whole thing come about? Were you contacted by, it was a TLC show, correct? So were you contacted by them?
So no, actually a casting director was looking for a psychic. And I said, oh, I am. I submitted myself because they were looking for it. And that was back in November of 2019. And February of 2020, I got a call, my phone rang, and she said, hi, I am such and such, such. I'm the casting director, da da da. And she said, let me just tell you, I have received hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of headshots, and nobody was right. But when I saw you, I knew that it was you. And that's it. I had to do a series of interviews and then a series of interviews and then more stuff and then do a pilot, I mean a trailer, like a sizzle reel. And then from the sizzle reel, we did a pilot. So, it just, yeah, it was a
Yeah.
lot, but it was beautiful. It's the most wonderful experience, oh my God, ever. Because I had asked for it. Here's the thing. So I have the gift of being on stage, doing stage performances, theater. And I love theater. But what I told God was, I want to be on television, but I want to do my gifts. I don't want it to just be me acting. I want it to be me. I want to do my gifts. I said that. I started saying that back in 2014. No, 2016 is when I started saying it. Here we are. So that's why I want people to know delayed does not mean denied. Everything is about timing. The timing is everything. Because she had to be looking for a casting director to do that. TLC probably never would have put me on if Teresa Caputo was still on there. So her show had to run its course and get the ending of where she needed it to be, you know, and then it could happen for me. It's all timing. It's all timing.
Yeah, they say hindsight is 2020 when you look back, and I mean, I love that quote because it's such a deep idea, because when you do look back on things and you see how perfectly everything aligned, and as we were saying, if everything didn't happen exactly the way it did, we wouldn't be here right now speaking to one another. And it
That's it.
it makes you wonder if this is sort of like a, I don't want to say predetermined, but for lack of a better word, is it in your view like a predetermined trajectory for everyone's life or for every soul's physical incarnation?
So what I think is everyone has free will. And I think your will to be, you will be whatever you will to be. Because remember, a person can make a choice. So if you make this choice, it could go this way. If you make that choice, it could go that way. So I think that there are more than one outcome, but that more than one outcome will still lead you to that same road. You still will end up where you need to be, right? You might go left, I might go right, but we still will end up in that meeting point. So yes, I do feel like it's created. I feel like we co-created, but we already know what we're going to co-create because it's already destined, it's already predetermined. But we just have to enjoy the journey on the way to get there. And most people get hung up on the journey and they get tired and they fall off. It's not that. You got to just keep going because you will get what it is that you desire. You will get, and the only reason that you have the desire in the first place is because it's already yours. The only reason you had a desire to do a podcast show is because you're meant to do one anyway. Period.
It's a
Mm.
fulfilling thing to do for sure.
You were meant to do it, sweetheart. It's yours. It's your calling. That's how you're going to show love. That is you doing your part to help the collective consciousness that's on this earth remember who they are.
So people that
Isn't that
get bogged,
beautiful?
it is beautiful. So people that get bogged down in their life, like you were saying, and they attach themselves to the negativity, and they attach themselves to all the problems, and they identify with negativity and hate and all of that. Do you think is that do they just have to take a dump? Do they just have to surrender and just shed themselves of all of that crap?
Mhm, mhm. Absolutely. Usually it is when you are at your lowest that you come out brand new because you have nowhere else to go. All you can do is take a shit because you don't have anywhere else to go.
I want to put that in quotes. All you got to do is take a shit. I love
I'm
it.
telling you,
I love it.
that's it. Because if you think about every single person's story, their awakening always happened after they would been at their lowest. One of my favorite books, it's even a movie, and I absolutely love it, is A Conversation with God. Neil Donald Walsh. I love, love, love that. But he was so down on his luck, he was even homeless. Do you know what I mean? And then he would never have heard what God was telling him to write if he hadn't have been in that moment where he was like, "What? What do you want from me?" He shut up long enough to hear what he wanted. And thus, he created the book. Ah, it's beautiful. It's amazing. So that's the only time that we listen because we have nowhere else to go.
So do you find that meditation is an important part of your practice?
It is. And I can tell you, I don't meditate nearly as much as I should. Um, what Hape is doing, because I do it every day, is making sure that I stay on a regular meditation schedule because I'll get busy and do other things and be like, okay, I got to quiet my mind and quiet. And then, like I said, I do family meditation. The first one was 30 days, and then this one is 7 days. That also is to help me stay on track. It's like, okay, let's do this together. But yes, I do feel like meditation is absolutely amazing. Meditation and pink Himalayan sea salt in Florida water.
Oh, sounds good to me. Especially here in this PA cold.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And mugwort tea, because I drink that too. I love mugwort tea.
Okay. What
It's one of
exactly
my
is that?
favorite teas. It is a tea leaf. It is a indigenous plant, really. It will give you lucid dreams. It clears negativity. You can smoke it. You can drink it. Instead of smoking weed, smoke some mugwort. Now, if you're pregnant or nursing, you probably shouldn't do it. Not probably, you shouldn't do it. Um, and if you have asthma, you can't burn it in the house because it's not good for you. But you can use it to clear space. They call it a witch's brew type of tea or witch's herb. Well, I think we're all witches because witch just means you do magic. Well, everybody does some form of magic. So we all witches. Quit with that word. It's beautiful. So, but it is a very get you some. I want you to try it.
It's so funny because as you were saying that, I think it was about a week or two ago, my mother had shown me a picture on her phone. Shout out to my mom. She's the greatest. Love her.
Hi,
Um,
mom.
she's great. And she showed me a picture on her phone of mugwort tea. And she said, I'm getting this. And just today, I was discussing with my brother like what we're going to talk about on our next episode, and he was telling me that he has been drinking this dream tea, he called it, and I think that's what it is. So
Yeah, yeah.
chalk up another synchronicity for us.
Listen, I'm telling you, baby, this thing is good, honey. Oh, yeah, I love mugwort tea. It's bitter, but the bitterness doesn't bother me. And it smells good when you burn it to me. Oh, try to burn it in your house to clear your house. Oh my God. Yeah, I keep it.
So what other things do you use? What other practices, substances, anything do you use to keep yourself in tune with your gifts?
I do a lot of dancing. I like to listen to music, even if I'm sitting down. I like to move. I wrap my head a lot. And I didn't realize they were talking about this is the crown covering season. Well, I didn't know. I just knew that I wanted to keep wrapping my head. I felt like I wanted to do that. Um, there's an artist called Mose, I think Mose. And that's like if you do cacao ceremonies, he does like those little his music puts me in a trance. So I love it. Sometimes I speak in unknown language, and that's how I clear myself as well. It just starts, and I know when it's ready to do it. I'll just and it just starts going, 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 going. Um, yeah, I'm very particular about what I watch and what I listen to. I try to do the 432 megahertz in music all the time, or gigahertz, whatever. 432 is very significant for me. Um, it's funny because the stuff I watch is old stuff. I don't watch any new stuff. I watch like Murder She Wrote because that's funny to me, you know, and Monk. But I don't watch a lot of other stuff because I'm very careful about what I allow. And then I watch a lot of spiritually based movies, or a lot of things that I can feel the love from the movie. That's really important to me. I used to watch Touched by an Angel all the time because it just made me feel good. Even if some of the things that they were saying on there I didn't agree with, but that's okay because the gist of the show is ooh for me. And I personally feel like wherever a person is, whatever works for them, it works for them. You know what I mean? Like if you have to go to church every Sunday to feel your connection to God, then baby, please go every Sunday. There's nothing wrong with that,
I
right?
totally agree.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever you have to do. But that's some things that I do. And I try to do retreats as well, where I bring people in and yeah, enjoy.
So, as we begin to wrap up a little here, um, what are some things you want to get out to the listeners?
Some things that I want to get out to the listeners is remember who you are. Remember who you are. You're more powerful than you think. You are co-creating this thing with God, not praying for God to make it happen. You are co-creating with God, and you will be what you will to be. So what are you willing to be?
Love it. What are some of your upcoming events, projects, anything
Yes,
involving your business?
yes, yes. So I have a radio show every Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's called Goddess Unapologetically. I do it with my oldest daughter. No topic is, listen, we talk about everything, everything. So that's every Tuesday. I also have a retreat coming up for women. It's called Goddess Uninterrupted, brought to you by Goddess Unapologetically, where we're just allowing the women to unwind. And men, we have not forgotten about you, but I feel like when the women are healed, the men automatically will fall into place a lot of times, right? Because we give birth to the men, truthfully. So this is where there's no work, no cell phone, no nothing. We're going to spend this time to reconnect back with yourself, right? Spend time with you, get to know you, be pampered. And that's June 2nd through the 5th. If you would like to find out more about that, you can go to freedomloveexperience.com. That's freedomloveexperience.com. And you'll see that retreat. We do have one coming up for the men and the women in August. That's brought to you by Freedom Love Experience. And that is unleashing and unlocking your inner God and goddess. Yeah. And there will be some plant medicine at that one.
That's nice. I like to hear that.
Mhm.
Well, Free, this has been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I so adore you. I think you're amazing.
Thank you so much. I think you're
And
amazing.
I'm telling you, you're going to grow. Just hold on. It's happening. It's happening.